Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Second in Command podcast. My name is Timothy Simons.
I am Matt Walsh.
Walshy, we're keeping it indie right now. You're on the road.
I'm on the road in Canada. I'm in Quebec City with my son Jude. We're touring Canada. Just drove from Montreal, and I'm here in a VRBO that was supposed to be two beds and is only one bed. Well, there's a lot to deal with right now.
Did they advertise two beds and it is only one bed?
Jude,
I think so.
we think so. We haven't gone pushed back. We just literally landed because the fans come first.
Yeah. What was the highlight? What was the Montreal highlight? What do you think, like, the first thought, like, this is the best thing that I saw in Montreal?
Oh gosh. I think the meal we had last night was we were in the old city, and the old city's great. It's just beautiful and quaint, and we had an incredible meal last night, which was really a highlight. What were the highlights, Jude?
I think last night's dinner was great.
Last night's dinner is still ringing really strong.
The walkability and like the public transit, how easy.
Walkability, public transit. We toured McGill. Jude looked at McGill. What a beautiful old university. We went up to Little Italy, had a neat
Brewery place.
brew pub, and yeah, we just kind of like walked around a lot. It's just like the waterfront, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
That's great. And you're up there working right now.
I am up here working. I was in Montreal for a gig, and then I was in Toronto for a gig. So we're going to drive from Toronto or from Quebec City today. Tomorrow, Sunday, we're going back to Toronto. That's like an 8-hour drive. It's a big country.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's flat too. It's very flat and very French.
I saw the rest of your family this week because we went out to Tony Hale has a movie coming out called Sketch.
Yeah, I missed that. I heard it was good.
And
Morgan said it was good.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's like, it's definitely more for like kids like, maybe CC and my kids' age. I think it's like, and I think it's like really challenging for kids that age because it's like legitimately pretty scary in moments.
Oh wow.
And I think it's maybe even for kids a little bit younger. The kids in the movie are probably, I don't know, are probably in like the 8 to 11 to 12 range, but it's like, I don't know, there's like a lot of really good stuff in it, and Tony's great in it. Darcy Carden is in it, and she's great.
Yeah. It's on
yeah,
the
I saw
Angel Network, right? Or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I saw the non-Canadian visiting members of your family. Saw Emmett, Morgan, Cece. Everybody was having a good time. It was great to see him.
What were the highlights from that? If you had to like pick a highlight from that.
It was, if I had to pick a highlight from that, I did I moderated the panel.
You did?
And yeah. We had like a little panel discussion.
Did you talk about Volkswagens?
Yeah, pretty much the whole time. They weren't happy about that.
How many? I saw another Tim Simons Volkswagen commercial. You don't tell me anything.
Oh yeah, there were like 3 of them. I think we shot like 3 of them. I don't know how many of them have aired.
You're all over my viewing. It's crazy.
Yeah, I told them to target you specifically.
Is there anything else?
I figured.
Anything else coming my way I need to know? Like, are you running for office? Are you convicted of a felony that people are going to question me? I feel like there's a lot of secrets I don't know about you.
Well, I'm all over the Epstein files. And so I've been working really hard. Yeah, no, I've been working really hard to keep that under wraps.
Does Volkswagen know?
Publicly.
Does Volkswagen know?
It didn't come up in the negotiations. That's one of the reasons. Well, I don't think they can ask for the money back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm not so much worried about that. I think it's just like, I'm trying to like do a thing publicly where I'm like, yeah, release them. But I'm like, they're never going to release them. So I don't have to worry. You know what I mean? But like, I guess I am just a little bit Like a little, it's like caused, a little bit of anxiety in the house, just me being like, I'm all over those things.
Are you like bribing Pam Bondi? How do you keep it quiet?
Well, I'm not bribing. I don't really have like, I did the Volkswagen things, but I don't want to like give away all the money just in bribes. You know what I mean? That I'm like
Right.
sort of back to zero.
Yes.
So I'm just right now, I'm just asking nicely,
Okay.
and like I guess we'll cross a bribing bridge when we come to it.
It just
Um,
seems like that administration is very transactional. Transactional. You might just want to get to money. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I just like I don't know if I have enough money that would make enough a difference for them. So I can offer them like exposure. Like maybe I can like invite some of them on the podcast. So if you're cool with having Bondi on the
Yeah,
podcast or having like Kosh Patel on the podcast.
I got your back. Whatever you need, man.
All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, that's really the only other thing. The show's coming back out end of October, like October 23rd. So you'll start seeing stuff for that. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's just really the show's coming back in the Epstein files.
Well, Epstein Files is huge. I appreciate the heads up.
I think
Um,
it's going to be good for my career.
it's certainly in the news. I mean, I guess you're being talked
Yeah.
about. That's a good.
Yeah.
Uh,
All press is good press, man.
all press is good press. Yes, sir, it is. I've been watching a lot of Colbert up here. You know how when you're in hotels and you tend to watch more TV.
Hmm.
I've been catching. Obviously, Steven's going away because of that nonsense with 60 Minutes,
Hmm.
but he's been on fire. It's really nice to see. It's inspiring, is what I'm going to say. He's a great host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he is. And I am really actually looking forward to like a Stephen Colbert that doesn't have to give a fuck. Like, uh,
Yeah.
that's not, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of a Stephen Colbert that doesn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I think
He
that's going to
still
be really
pokes
great.
pretty hard. He still gets pretty good. You know, he
Yeah.
really goes after Trump in the best way. It's so wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
Um, uh, So just so that you can try to deal with this 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom situation, don't want to keep you here too long. I'll just
No,
say
we
that
can.
this
Yeah.
entire time we've been talking about Buckaroo Banzai, the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the eighth dimension.
Yes.
Um, but I'm going to ask you why you chose it. But am I forgetting before we get into it? Any housekeeping stuff? Like, is there any housekeeping stuff that we need to do?
No, I'm excited about I feel like the show's been great. I mean, patting myself on the back. I feel like I've been on fire.
Oh, you've
Every
really
time I
been.
listen to it, I thought the
Uh-huh.
Sean Astin episode was really great. He's such a
Yeah.
smart, interesting, potentially our next SAG president guy. And he's got COVID right now, so I hope he's feeling better.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah, he got knocked out with COVID, and he was holed up in isolation or quarantine. He's staying at some place, and he texted me that he had listened to the whole episode and he really liked it, and
Oh, excellent.
he was complimentary of both of us, which was surprising.
Huh. That's that's funny. But
Yeah,
only to you. Okay.
no, both of us, both of us.
No, but I mean like he only told you, which makes it seem like maybe him being complimentary to me was tagged on. Like Matt, you did a great job. Oh, and Tim. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like to me.
Don't take it personal. We're movie friends. I don't know how deep we are. He's a good guy, but I don't see him a lot. But we worked
Okay.
together, and we had a nice journey where we had to derail, get off a plane, and spend a night. Yeah.
Are you violating his HIPAA rights?
Oh, by saying COVID? Oh, wow. Jeepers. Maybe I did. We cut this.
All right, cool. I'll
Tell the
I'll
editor.
keep the parts. I'll keep the parts where
Let me
uh
talk to the editor. I want to talk to the editor for a second. Hey, cut all that stuff about COVID.
okay, cool. No, I'm leaving it in. Um yeah, so Buckaroo Banzai across the eighth dimension. Why'd you pick this one? This was your choice.
I love it. It's a movie that's always stayed in my mind. It's so bizarre and funny, and I feel like I've watched it a bunch of times and never quite understood it. Like the story is really bananas, but
Yeah.
the aesthetic and the fun of it's just so fun. It's just so fun.
It's what was your first introduction to it?
I think on video, like in the '90s, really. Like I don't know, a buddy of mine probably turned me on to it and said, "You got to watch this one." And it was just like, he's a physicist, a polymath, a rock star, uh, a stunt driver. Like his
I,
whole backstory is like he's a great hero. And then, so yeah, that was like my fun of it. And I love Peter Weller. And then you got some good Jeff Goldblum and John Lithgow is amazing in this. He's so fun, and
yeah.
it has that feel. Watching it last night, it had that feel of like when you're doing early theater in Chicago and you're sort of writing the script as well. Like it has that feel
Uh-huh.
of like, yeah, whatever you want to do, go ahead. And so like people are going for it. They're going way over the top. Like John Lithgow's walking like a crab, and Goldblum's wearing
Yeah.
like chaps and a cowboy hat, and like there's so many irrelevant jokes that don't need to be there. I don't know. It just feels like when you're doing theater as a young person and they're like, yeah, man, go for it, whatever. Like, we got no money and you're not getting paid. So whatever you want to do is great.
That's actually a really good like context for it because like even the just by saying that like I'm thinking back to like all of like the Chicago theater like the indie theater sets that I built or my friends that had theater companies like going and watching them try to put on like huge productions on essentially a $0 budget. And not saying that this movie had a $0 budget, but it really punched above its weight. But a lot of times that really does mean that it looks like Peter Weller is in a set that is a spaceship, but that was made by like a 22-year-old production designer for theaters in Chicago. Like, you know what I mean? Like that is a really good comp for what this thing is.
And it's not like schlocky, like a trauma, like B movie in a way. Like, I think it's elevated. Like, the spaceships look cool. And Dave didn't like the movie. But it's like, and the green screen's pretty good for the era. Like, so they didn't chintz out on like effects or trying to elevate it. But yeah, it has that kind of vibe for sure. Yeah, and there was something I read. We'll get into all the backstory about this project, but there was the producer. I think MGM funded it for I think only like 13 or 14 million, and their producer was Bagelman, Mr. Bagelman. I don't know his first name, Sam, I think. But
Mhm.
at some point, he just stopped. It was so insane. Like, it's the kind of movie John Lithgow describes. Like, every time I try to tell the people what the movie's about, it takes me about an hour because it's so like
Yeah.
weird and circuitous. And he, at some point, the executive's like, he just washed his hands, like, you guys are insane, because he was really giving notes a lot in the beginning, and then he's just like checked out. And so they were just, he wasn't even watching dailies, and they put something in the movie just to see if he was watching the edits. And there's a scene in the movie where they're walking through
Uh-huh.
a factory at Yo-Yo Dine Industries, which is John Lithgow's the Red Aliens headquarters, and there's like a watermelon in this big machine that's like a press, and the guy says, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, it's a watermelon," and they just put that in there to see if the executive was babysitting the project, and he didn't say anything. So they're like, "Yeah, we can do whatever we want." Isn't that great? So it has
It
that like
has.
toy store. These kids are in a toy store, and they're like, "I guess we can do whatever we want."
Oh, that's incredible. Wait, I do want to talk more about that like aesthetic, but like do we want to do some historian Walshy?
Yeah. So the sort of year
Were you able to do historian Walshy prep being on the road?
I did. I have a co-pilot, so we switched drivers. Jude took over the road, and I did my homework in the driver passenger seat. Um, So the movie came out in '84, so like '83 to '84, the year before, and all. There's a lot going on, so it was really fun to get lost in this stuff. So stop me when you wanna go off topic with some of this stuff. So in that era, uh, the U.S. admitted shielding Nazi war criminal Klaus Barbie. We were complicit in shielding a Nazi. Um, Korean airliner was shot down by Russia, killed
Okay.
260 people. The Marine barracks in Beirut were blown up, killed a couple hundred Marines, sadly. We invaded Grenada. Reagan was president. George Bush Sr. was vice. Um, this was interesting. In that era, while this movie was being shot, pre-prod and edited, crack cocaine was invented in the Bahamas.
In the Bahamas?
Yeah, it came out of the Bahamas.
They have such a chill vibe there. I wouldn't
I know.
expect.
I agree. I kind of agree. It was kind of surprising. It's very mellow and friendly. It doesn't seem like an aggressive place like that.
Yeah.
The
And it's
FC,
also
yeah,
funny to it's also funny to think about the idea of like just like at our age crack has been so ubiquitous both in like just like in its existence and like the threat of crack cocaine, but then also like ubiquitous in culture in the jokes. It's almost like it's weird to think of like a pre-crack period of time.
yeah,
Like
eh,
our dads didn't grow up with like crack jokes.
right, yeah, crackhead, yeah, cracked out, yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. And the FCC began giving permission to Motorola to start building cellular networks in Chicago. So cellular networks were just being launched. Um, a couple
Okay.
of interesting deaths in this era. Uh, Tennessee Williams and Buckminster Fuller. I thought that was like, wow, that's an end of an era.
Yeah.
Um, Reagan withdrew the troops from Beirut. The Soviet Union did not participate in the Olympics that year. I guess it would have been the '84 Olympics. Um,
Was that because of a do we know if that was because of a boycott or because of some sort of doping scandal? Because I feel like they currently can't compete as an actual nation. Like
oh,
some of
right.
their athletes can compete, but they are kind of banned from competition as a country.
I think it was political reasons. I don't know exactly what they were
Yeah,
like reacting to, but I think it was political. If we had a better research department, I could get you that.
that's
Um,
okay.
Congress rebuked Ronald Reagan for giving the go ahead for like mining the Nicaraguan harbor. So they were like dropping depth charges and mines in Nicaragua. So he was involved in that. Geraldine Ferraro and Walter Mondale were nominated for the Democratic ticket for presidency.
Okay.
Martina Navratilova, you got something to say there?
On Marina Navratilova, well, or Mondale Ferraro.
Yeah, first
I
woman.
don't know that I have much on Mondale Ferraro.
Okay,
Yeah, like first woman vice president on a ticket.
yeah. You went
Yeah,
mute
okay.
for a second. Oh, there you go. Okay. Um,
Yeah, no, I'm here. I think it's just like all I really remember was that my parents had a bumper sticker. That's like all that I know about Mondale Ferraro.
yeah, and she was on the cover of Time magazine. I remember that. That was a big deal. Uh, Georgetown and Patrick Ewing won the NCAA basketball.
Cool.
Um, and then like TV pop culture stuff, Tim. So TV shows that were a hit: Dallas, 60 Minutes, Dynasty, The A Team, Magnum PI. There's kind of a pattern there. There's kind of, I don't know. It feels a little old fashioned, I guess, that sort of TV.
Yeah.
And then the
Big,
movies that, yeah,
big exciting things. Yeah.
Yeah, and the movies that it felt like CBS network stuff too for some reason. I feel like CBS was probably dominating back then. Um, the movies in that year lead up, like Return of the Jedi, Risky Business, Ghostbusters, Temple of Doom, Karate Kid, and Superman 3. Superman
Okay.
3,
Wait, so this is the
83 to 84. So you're talking like July of 83, June of 83 to August of 84 is kind of what I did.
so we are when this comes out, we are in like a post Return of the Jedi world.
Yeah,
Return of the Jedi would have okay.
it's out.
Which that does make sense that studios are like chasing sci-fi cool guy space epics. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
like the culture shift toward that being like not only in a way kind of cool but financially successful
yeah,
probably makes them okay with spending $12 million on this movie.
yeah. And you've had two Star Wars out for a while, and they just kept making money. You know, they would just keep printing money with those things. So yeah, they were chasing that. I think they saw a way to like, oh, maybe we can get into this. Um, and I was just gonna say, Superman 3 was like the first movie that I was able to like. That is the worst movie I've ever seen. I don't know why. Like,
Really?
yeah, it was really bad, and it was like, I don't know. It was so disappointing. It was kind of funny. I don't know why.
That was like the first time as a kid that you remember seeing a bad movie where you walked out and you're like that was bad.
Yeah, and I was kind of in on the mocking of it. You know what I mean? Like it was age appropriate mocking, I guess. And then music wise, this is like Billboard charts, so it's really pop. It's not like niche or like because new wave was permeating America. The British invasion of kind of post punk had infiltrated artists, but the stuff that Americans were digesting were Every Breath You Take by the Police. Of course, you know it was huge. Billie Jean, Beat It. Michael Jackson was just crushing. So that
Mhm.
means like MTV was really digging in. A Man Down Under by A Men at Work. Man Eater, Hall and Oates, great song. Um,
Great
that was
song.
Boom. That was Boom Boom Mancini's. I remember seeing his entrance song. I think at a boxing match. Flashdance, the theme. That movie had just come out. When Doves Cry, Prince. Jump by Van Halen. Ghostbusters by Ray Parker, and Karma Chameleon by Culture Club. So you had a little new wave flavor there. Um, and I thought a really good way to anchor who we were as American. Are you on your phone? You better not be texting during our
No,
podcast.
no, I'm not texting. I'm trying to look up the full opening text from Buckaroo Banzai for when we get
Got
into
it.
it. But no,
Got
you
it.
were saying a good way to anchor.
Good way to anchor the mood of America is by what we were consuming, what consumer products were released in this year before Buckaroo.
Cool.
And this is what was coming to market, Tim. Chicken nuggets were
Okay.
introduced by McDonald's.
Okay.
Cabbage Cabbage Patch Kids, the contraceptive sponge, Hot Pockets,
Wow.
The Canon V20. I threw that in for you because you grew up in a camera house. Do you remember a Canon V20?
I don't remember the Canon B20.
Well, then this is for your dad if he still listens. He can maybe weigh in.
Okay.
Air Jordans were introduced in this era.
Okay.
That's significant.
That's that's significant.
Yeah,
Honestly, all of these are pretty significant. Hot Pockets are
exactly.
still around. Again, like just like crack cocaine, like imagine a pre-chicken McNugget world. Like
Yeah,
imagine like what did toddlers refuse to eat anything but before chicken nuggets?
yeah. Is the contraceptive sponge still around? I should know, but I don't.
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think there have been like I think there yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
But it
Um,
was around long enough, just like to like JLD on Seinfeld had that entire episode about people being sponge worthy, and that was
ah,
probably in the mid '90s, and
yeah.
so it would have stuck around long enough. I think it was they were phasing them out So the idea was, I don't have a lot of these sponges. So is this person sponge worthy? Because I cannot replace them.
Ah, got it.
So I think that's where that came from. So it probably got phased out somewhere around then.
Okay. The Disc Man came out.
Okay.
Hard
That was a
Media.
cool time. Yeah,
You love
that was a
that.
cool time. Love
You
that.
love that. The Clapper. Do you remember the Clapper?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. That was introduced to our society. And
Again, just
the
like crack cocaine, there was also then the existence of just the clapper as a product, but then also the clapper as a cultural device in that like every movie then had a joke about the clapper. Like in Uncle Buck, he wakes up and he claps twice and the entire house turns on. Somebody you're at like the opera and somebody puts the lights into the clapper and at the end of the show the lights keeps going on and off because of you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it just became a shorthand for like whatever, we just need a joke. Put the clapper, just put the clapper in there.
yeah, they're kind of like that, and like crack are like cultural memes before memes existed on the internet, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, and the Casio PV7 was introduced, which could be either a camera or a calculator or a keyboard. I didn't know. I thought you might know.
Casio PV7.
But anyways.
I love that this is, oh, it's a little home computer.
Oh, okay. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
okay.
technology. I think that says a lot about I felt like that was fun to do because it says a lot about our culture.
Yeah, no, I do like keep doing that.
Yeah.
Products being introduced, I think, especially because I would have just assumed that chicken nuggets were around forever up until this moment.
Yeah. I bet they didn't have the same array of sauces. Like I bet honey mustard didn't come out till later. That's my guess.
Yeah. Well, you probably just like iPhones, you probably got to save something for the next update. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, the so Buckaroo Banzai, I was trying to find like the opening text crawl, and just to this idea of like these guys were like kids in a candy store who had who just had nobody minding, they had no managerial component to deal with. Even just the opening text that like sets the scene for the movie is way too much. Like right off the bat, it is doing way too much. Like
Yeah.
talking about like like he's half Japanese, he is gonna be a doctor, realizes he doesn't want to be a doctor and he wants to live a full life, so he starts running around with the Hong Kong Cavaliers, and uh, and then like but now he has a jet propelled car, and then even then they go straight into he's uh he's performing brain surgery
Yeah.
with
He's a neurosurgeon.
he's a neurosurgeon. He goes straight from that to the jet car breaking through the eighth dimension. Uh, and then he finds a piece of alien, like like a piece of an alien life form that comes back with him.
Yeah.
And then he goes straight from that to perform with the Hong Kong Cavaliers at a rock nightclub where they're all dressed up like Wang Chung. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's kind of wish
This
fulfillment. That's
mo-
what's fun about it. He's like the coolest character you've ever seen. That's what's really good about it.
they
He, yeah.
This reminded me of like when I was 22 and somebody was like, "What do you want to do?" And I listed like, and like this is so annoying, and I hate myself for even repeating this, but I was like, I want to do theater, and I want to be in an indie rock band, and I want to write headlines for the Onion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it was like, man, just choose a lane.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be able to do all those things. You're like trying to find all the cool things that you like and try to just be like, oh well, I'm just going to do all of them. But he just does all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like appeals to the part of me when I was 22. If someone said, "Do you want to live to 100 or be able to dunk a basketball?" And I'd be like, "Dunk a basketball." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
no brainer.
no brainer. Uh, the like, uh, I don't want to I will, and I don't want to like get in trouble with this because this is like a beloved movie, and I was introduced to it by my really good, like childhood friend Will, who I'm still friends with, and it was one of his favorites. And it never, and I haven't like I think I watched it with him back then, and I probably watched it once when I was in my 20s, and I this is the first time I've seen it since then. And it's one of those things that I can completely understand why people love it. It just never, I never went as hard with it as other people did. I think I wanted, maybe I don't know if I'm trying to figure out why, maybe I wanted something more to grab onto just because it was like, but I think a good point of maybe why I feel this way is that even though you have all these amazing characters like Perfect Tommy and Jeff Goldblum, who's
Yeah,
incredible, and
yeah,
John Lithgow, who's incredible, and like this cast is stacked across the board. Like Alan Barkin is in it, the guy that played from Breaking Bad, who
yeah.
plays like the
Mike, who
is
plays
it
Mike?
Mike? Yeah, Mike. Yeah, like he plays like the orderly that gets murdered. This I just remember like when they're like walking down the LA River very dramatically as a gang and Jeff Goldblum's in the cowboy outfit and the whole thing. I am just like I actually don't know who I know who like two of these characters are or who
Yeah,
three of them are. And most of them I don't know what they do and I don't know what they did.
yeah,
But they are having like these hero walks, and I'm like, I actually don't know what that guy did, and I don't know what that guy did, and I
yeah.
know why I know that Ellen Barkin was in the movie, but I also don't know what she did.
Yeah. It might fall under like a guilty pleasure because like it is not a perfect movie and like I think multiple viewings allowed me to really appreciate it because I like you I'm like it's cool and there's some great moments but I couldn't quite follow it but it kept coming back into my life like somebody would have it on at a party and you'd see another thing and so it's kind of a guilty pleasure because in truth the author he kind of writes like Kurt Vonnegut. The guy has like this absurdist bent, and it's really interesting, and it's like world scope, and it's influenced by the atomic age. That's why I think of like
Yeah,
a Kurt Vonnegut comparison. And like, but he had like multiple drafts. He would write half the movie, and then he would quit on it, and then he would shelve it, and he would give it to the director, and the director had it. And so the director basically, when they went into filming, he had like a 300-page book basically that said like everything we need to know about Buckaroo Banzai and the Hong Kong crew. And they kind of knew a lot, but they didn't know everything. And and it's apparent they didn't really have an ending to the movie when they started filming. And it kind of
yeah.
feels that way. But it's
I
always
was
better to
thinking it
make the movie than not make the movie.
for sure, and I think that there's like one thing that I really do appreciated about it is that somebody was talking about. I remember hearing this years ago, like when I first started. I was when I first started getting into like Miyazaki, like the Spirited Away and Totoro when I was like watching those with the kids. Um, Somebody described him as somebody who inherent like those movies don't always hit with adults. Uh, because he has a way of knowing how to tell stories that like a 6-year-old will just inherently understand, or he knows how a 6-year-old's brain works and the leaps that they can make to put two things together to make it make sense. And like as you get older you lose that imagination and you lose the ability to make those leaps and everything becomes much more logical. And I feel like when I was watching it last night that there was a part of me that kind of felt the same way about this of like this is like a 14 or 15-year-old stoner kid's version of the intellect like the the emotional leaps to connect these things together without logic. Does that make sense? That
Yeah,
you're if you're watching this as like a stoner 15-year-old, this makes perfect sense from moment one.
yeah, and it's driven by wish fulfillment. Like I watch it now, I'm like, oh, this would have been so fun to make. Like with all these people
Yeah.
just going for it. Like somebody walking on set today is like, I think I'm going to wear this hat for the next scene. Like, dude, love it. Like it just has that spirit, and that's it permeates to the screen. And a lot of the reviews kind of it didn't do well when it was released because they didn't support it. They didn't know how to market it.
I
And
mean, how do you market this?
yeah, I don't know either. It's because it's a comedy and it's sci-fi and but there are like the things I always remember like from the first viewing is like when he's doing the concert and the woman's crying, and he's like stops it and people are
Yeah.
like making fun of her and he's like, hey, remember wherever you go, there you are. And
And then he
yeah,
and then he like plays the song for her. And yes, like the wish fulfillment of all of this is like as like I think even at some point maybe right around that concert you realize that he has comic books that have been written about him. So not only is like he a neurosurgeon with a jet car who's in a rock band, he is also like world famous, and like the exploits of the Hong Kong Cavaliers are all chronicled in these comic books. So he is also just sort of like passively famous,
yeah,
like he just and that again, like the wish fulfillment when she does the thing where she takes out the gun and she was going to kill herself, that all of the Hong Kong Cavaliers immediately pull guns. Like, so it's like, oh, and we all get to have guns too. Like, we all get to just be like, we're fucking badass and we're going to protect our guy. Like, they're ready to throw down whenever, even like he plays the trumpet. Not only does he like start shredding on the guitar, but they like stop and he plays like a little mini trumpet solo.
I think he plays three instruments in the first song. He might on keyboard and drums, or he does three
He
different instruments. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
he goes guitar, trumpet, and then plays the piano song for Ellen
Yes,
Barkin.
yes,
And I feel like one thing that I feel like I tuned into a little bit more this time watching it was like there is humor there. Like there are times where it is at least I felt like it was trying to intentionally be funny. It might have just missed the mark on tone. Like obviously like this thing is kind of all over the place, but like a really good example of like the kind of humor that it feels like the movie was going for was uh when she said when Ellen Barkin is in his apartment and she's like trying to like I don't know what's going on here, and he says something like, near as I can tell, you had a twin sister and I married her and now she's gone and that's over and that's all there really is to say about that. Like he's just like he just kind of like drops it in. He's like, then we don't really need to discuss this anymore. Like you had a
yeah,
twin sister who was the Queen of Norway.
yeah,
Yeah, like he also apparently is royalty. Like he was married to the Queen of Norway, so he has like this like royal connection.
yeah. And he's very understated. Peter Weller is very understated the whole movie.
Yes.
He's never action movie Tom Cruise level. He's very like underneath it and calm.
Yeah.
And they also fight the aliens with guns. Like the aliens don't have tasers or like Star Wars guns. They just kind of touch you or throw you if they get close to you. And the
Yeah.
Hong Kong Cavaliers, they have guns. So it's kind of like a Western
Yeah,
versus
yes, it's all
versus primitives, really versus primitives.
yeah, it's like it is like on it's like a sci-fi comedy slapstick 80s rock western. And I guess I didn't even know why. I mean, Jeff Goldblum, who we talked about in what was the last? Oh, in Independence Day, who's always incredible. I'm trying to figure out when this would have been like what his career. where he was in his career.
Goldblum did some horror movie that was like kind of popular, I think. He was on the map for something that was in the horror genre, but I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
And Lithgow, so the director wanted unknowns. He was insisting on unknowns, and the studio's like, you
Uh-huh.
got to star. And so he picked Peter Weller from a Broadway play, and then the same thing with Lithgow. Lithgow was an established theater actor, and I believe this was also one of his first things that he got to do.
That that makes God, it really does have such a vibe of broke theater.
Yeah,
Like the big crab walk stuff is such a theatrical choice. And
yeah,
it is all too big. You know, like I feel like I was reading an interview with John Lithgow when he was like, yeah, like I don't like to say that some of my performances have been over the top. I like to think of them as pushing it in some moments or very committed. He's like, but I can tell you that performance is 100% over the top the entire time.
yeah. Because somebody, I'm sure, went in like, hey man, we got these fucked up teeth. Do you want them? He's like, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like he's got really weird, dirty teeth. And yeah, and he's like, and all the silliness of like everybody's name is John Big Booty, played by
Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing. Christopher Lloyd is in this. This entire thing is completely stacked. I want to shout out that Clancy Brown, who played Rawhide, who is like the one guy from the Cavaliers who died because he
Okay.
gets stung with that little spider spit thing,
Oh,
and there's no antidote to the poison.
yes.
He was a part of the movie that, like, I've always been a Clancy Brown fan. Side note, I saw him getting out of his car going into the Gelsons in the neighborhood like 4 months ago,
Wow.
and it was awesome. Like just
Wow.
a Clancy Brown sighting as I was driving by. And he's like a very striking looking guy now. Um, he's really tall. He's probably not as tall as I am, but he's like a broad-shouldered guy,
Yeah.
very tall, and has gone like shock of like long white hair, like shoulder length white hair, like big white beard. So he's like a very striking looking guy. It's awesome. But I was watching this being like Clancy Brown fucking gives an incredible performance in this movie.
Yeah.
He's like strong and lovable. I was like actually emotionally affected when he dies.
Yeah.
And also because I kind of knew him first as the guard in Shawshank Redemption. Uh had always like that was sort of how I was introduced to him. But in this movie, I was like, holy shit, like Clancy Brown's fucking hot. Like he was good looking.
Yeah. Well, I think the Hong Kong Cavaliers had to be handsome. I think they were all like good looking, attractive guys as part of like, yeah, they were like Jesus's apostles. I don't know how to compare them,
Yeah.
but yeah. And I love the guy, and I can't remember his character's name. Like at some point, he's like drawing markings on his eyes and marker. Do you remember? Like it just felt like the kind of thing of like, I think I'm gonna have marker on my face for this scene. Like, do it, man. Let's go. Like,
Oh
uh,
yeah,
I think he had the broken arm. He
yeah,
also had
he
a
gets
broken arm.
shot. He gets shot
Yeah.
in the when they try to steal the power converter or the
Yeah.
over condenser or whatever it is,
Overthruster. The
the
overthruster.
overthruster. Yeah. So he gets shot with like an Uzi right after Peter Weller has said like the president's on the phone and he says the president of what? Like that's another point of like, oh, I see like what kind of humor the movie was going for when it was going for jokes. You know what I mean?
Wait, I might be wrong then. Did the aliens have guns? Or did they steal somebody's guns?
I think they may have stolen somebody's guns at some
Okay.
point, but I
Okay.
feel like their main weaponry was like the spit spider thing.
Yeah. And they could shock, I think they could zap people when they got
Yes,
close.
they could zap people.
Well, you brought up the president, and I feel like I want to weigh in. We'll weigh in on him at the end of the movie, but like, what
Mhm.
a dud. That guy is a dud as a president. I
Yeah.
mean, he's in traction. He has no reaction to anything. And he's kind of bullied around by like, should we go to DEF CON 2 and bomb the Russians? He's like, okay, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. And again, it's like one of those things where that probably was like an idea that this guy had. What was the writer's name? Hold on real
Mac,
quick.
Mac,
Mac
Mac something.
Earl Mac Raw,
Yeah,
Rauch,
Roush,
Roush.
maybe.
So that he was like, yeah, the president's like, Peter Weller even says, like, I know your back's hurting, sir. Like this was probably just an image he liked, or in like one of the 30 scripts that he had thrown out was just like, but then they were there with like a president in traction. But it's never really explained the significance of it. I'm not sure what it is. It was just like, yeah, this is going to be happening. It reminds me of like, did you ever see Southland Tales?
I don't know if I have.
It's a movie that was directed by the guy I'm forgetting his name, but he directed Donnie Darko, and it was
Okay.
sort of like a blank check movie post Donnie Darko because Donnie Darko had done so well, and like The Rock is in it, and like an early performance with The Rock. Justin Timberlake's in it. Uh, Justin Timberlake, not Sean Thomas Scott, the guy that played Stifler in American Pie.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was like a lot of people wanted to work with him, but it's just so many ideas. Post-apocalyptic LA, climate change, I think, is in there. Like it's a movie that feels like this one in the amount of ideas that it has, and
Okay.
whether or not they all come together is really up for debate. But that is a thing of just like, yeah, the president's going to be in traction. He's got a bad back. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. And it's so Buckaroo tests the overthruster, travels through a mountain,
Hmm.
picks up something from the eighth dimension, a globby brain thing.
Hmm.
And that thing, what does that thing do? Like, that's the MacGuffin. That thing he finds, does that prove that there's problems in the eighth dimension? Or what? I don't even know if that thing matters.
I don't think it ultimately matters. I think it
Okay.
proves to everyone that there is life in the eighth dimension.
Okay. And then John Lithgow sees the news. He's in an insane
Yes.
asylum. He's partners with the actor's last name is Ito, the Japanese doctor,
Yeah.
who aged him. He aged himself up for the audition too. By the way, he wanted the part so well he like put on age makeup, and
Yeah.
he's really good in it. He's a very if he almost got killed. I was very worried for him. He's a good character. Um,
Yeah.
But he worked on the overthruster with Lithgow, and it failed. And Lithgow went insane, and he was now able to see another dimension as part of insanity. And then when Banzai perfects the overthruster, he learns of it. He escapes, and he gets together with the red whatever the keloids from the whatever
From
world.
Planet 10,
Okay, well,
possibly from Planet 10.
I think they're called keloids or I mean, we don't even know. There's so much going on, but the theloids or keloids. There's John Warfin, who's like the Rastafarian Jamaican dude, okay,
Yeah.
who in every scene is always like his tick was this. I don't know if you noticed that. He's like, I think in every scene I'm gonna be, my hands are always gonna be like this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Every scene he's like sticking to the commitment. It's really funny, and it's like, all right, I guess so. But they made him cool, and they came to Earth to help defeat the bad guys from the whatever dimension. The red team basically. He's on the black team,
Yeah.
Worf and uh, the other guys are called the red keloids or whatever they're called. And
Yeah.
he
So like
says, like,
John
if
Big Booty
yeah,
and John Lithgow are on the red
and
team.
John Smallberries is another one, one of
Yeah.
the names. I mean, they did have fun, and the guy who plays one of them, who might be John Smallberries, he's got like kind of a sad face. He's been in a
Mhm.
million things. He's great.
Yes. Yeah.
He's so great. Um, but John Warfin comes in his silver coat and his cool jiggly hands, and he's like, "I'm going to help you because you see the people sitting in the high chairs are the good guys of Aliens.
Yes.
They
But
send John Warfin, huh?
they are also like, oh, by the way, we're going to send this guy, and if you guys don't get it figured out in 24 hours, we are going to destroy this place in Russia, which means that that's going to trigger nuclear war, which means that we will wipe out our enemies, but unfortunately, that means we will also kill all of humanity.
Yes, that's a big thing to understand.
Yeah.
Yes, and it doesn't come through on first viewing.
No, it doesn't. I will say it does not. It doesn't really make it easy to keep track of.
No.
And also, it turns out that like John Big Booty and John Smallberries and all those Johns, it is revealed that they all got social security numbers that the day of Orson Welles's War of the Worlds, which ultimately was
Real?
real,
Yes.
but then they like brainwashed him to say it was fake, and so that was
Yes.
their cover of how they got to Earth.
Yes.
So they've been around since then,
Yes.
and then ultimately they just kind of storm into the thing.
I think they go to Buckaroo's compound
Yeah,
and they steal Penny Pretty, which is such a great name. That's like Tommy Beautiful. What's his name? Tommy Terrific or no?
perfect Tommy.
That's a great name.
Yes,
That is such a great name.
yeah,
And they steal her, and that's where Clancy dies, right? He dies in that kidnapping.
yeah.
And they sneak out through a tiny tear in a plastic sheet. That's so funny to me. Like
He,
their escape is like there's a little slit in like visqueen plastic that painters hang, and this like we can't follow him past this tiny hole in tear plastic. It's so dumb. Um, but yeah, so he dies, and then Penny's taken. So then they have to go to Yo-Yo Industries,
Mhm.
which is a government contractor, and they're building a stealth bomber or some kind of Defense Department contract. But what they're really doing is they're funding a spaceship that'll employ their overthruster technology and get them back to their planet or eighth dimension. That'll get them to the eighth dimension.
Yes.
And so the defense contractor, he's great. He comes in, he's like, I'll tell these SOBs what's what. And he just starts shouting at people. He just,
Yeah,
yeah,
like I don't even know if that was his plan or if it was supposed to be a diversion.
yeah.
Oh, and then at some point during all of this, they like call out to like all Buckaroo Banzai fans, uh, we need your help. And it ends up being the guy who plays the driver in Clue and his son, like the African American guy and his son, like they join the team, I think, because he has a helicopter.
They're called Blue Troopers, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but only two blue troopers come in.
yeah, yeah. But they have an army that's at their beck and call
Yeah.
to help Buckaroo in times of trouble. So they come on and they help in many ways the helicopter, and they have guns too, and I think they participate in the assault on Yo-Yo Dine. But I love the Defense Department guy because he is just like acting officious, and he's talking to aliens who could kill him the whole time. He's like, I want to see the goddamn thing you're building for us. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? That's all he says to every alien he meets, and they kind of kowtow to him. They're like, all right, we'll show you.
Like this is an unplanned site visit.
Yes.
And like you, I mean, like you are funding this, so we can't tell you to go away. But like you guys are aliens. Like you are like you could just kill him, but they're like they're still holding firm to like the chain of command.
And then there's some beef between Lithgow and Christopher Lloyd because he won't say big booty right. He calls him big boot or big boot.
Oh yeah, no,
It's big booty.
he says big booty, but it's pronounced big bootay.
Yes.
Tay, tay, tay.
And at some point, it bubbles up so bad that he kills him. Lithgow
Yeah.
kills him.
And I think at that point, that's when he's like they don't have that special gyro drive that's going to get them into the eighth dimension. And
Because Penny
Lithgow's just,
Pretty has it. Penny Pretty has it
yes.
somewhere on her purse or somewhere, right?
But then I think ultimately maybe she even slips it to the kid.
I don't know, but the doctor, my favorite, one of my favorite moments is it's so dumb. Like the Japanese scientist who created the
Mhm.
overthruster is being chased by the bad aliens, and he comes up against a wire fence, and he has the overthruster in a wooden box, and he tries to slide it under the gate of the metal fence, and it won't fit. So then he opens the box and takes it out of the box, and then he slides it under. It was just so like to create tension, like, oh shoot, how are we gonna do this? And then he slides it under the gate when he takes it out of the box because it's smaller now. And Penny Pretty's like, just run, get away.
Jesus Christ.
And
It's
then, yeah.
truly they were just making it up in every moment.
Oh, yeah. And then when the defense guy comes in and Penny Pretty is on like a Frankenstein table unconscious, he's like, I don't care what you do in your personal life. Show me what the hell. He just ignores it. And there's like water and crap everywhere. It's like such a like murky, yeah, apocalyptic vibe. And then the other thing I really loved is when they're getting ready to go through the overthruster, Christopher Lloyd steps into like what I imagine is just like the base structure was like a fur vest, and then they just put like spray insulation and latex on it, and then painted it gooey. But to take off, he's in a harness that he doesn't even buckle. He's just kind of like floating in it,
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yeah, man, that's cool. That's really cool."
that's cool. And I think ultimately he doesn't get into the eighth dimension, but gets into space, right? Like
Yes.
he's trying to fly through the wall into the eighth dimension. He doesn't get there, but now they just have to chase them into space, right?
Yeah. And
And then they
I think the defense contractor doesn't even want to save Earth, or he doesn't want to save anyone. He just wants the thruster. He's like a bad guy too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So ultimately Peter Weller, like they fire a laser into the
So
thing,
they
John
get
Lith.
in. Him and John Worfen get
Yeah.
inside the ship when they start to take off, and then they get inside the escape pod, and then Lithgow ejects them. He kicks them out of the spaceship by ejecting the space pod, and he goes, "You're," with his Italian accent. He goes,
Yeah.
"You're goodbye, Buckaroo Banzai. You are no longer in my problem. I will see you in hell," or whatever he says. And then he starts to fly away, and then they discover how to fly the thing,
Mhm.
and then
Oh yeah,
then
they
they just,
they like attach what is clearly just like a car jumper cable,
yep.
and then they can, I think then they fire a laser and he
No,
explodes.
that's what allows them to fly,
Okay.
and then he discovers, oh, this must be a gun. There's like a clamp that he squeezes, and then they're on a two chair swivel that's like almost like a playground slide thing. They just like they swivel. Now you drive, and they both like swivel positions on like a two seat swing. I don't even know what it is. And then Worfen drives so Buckaroo can fire the shot that blows up the ship.
Okay. It's all so simple when you say it like that.
And then the epilogue is fantastic. That was an afterthought when they have like they're just walking in the LA River and they
Yeah.
have and they're just looking cool. That's all they're doing. They're
Yeah.
just looking cool. And they hired a choreographer like a music video and they were walking to Billy Joel's Uptown because they didn't have the score yet. Like nothing was done yet. So they didn't know what
Uh-huh.
the so all those guys are marching to Uptown Girl on the day.
Okay, nice.
So they're all just Uptown Girl. That's why they're all like kind of dancing and kind of yeah. But it looks really cool. It's like fun.
It does. It does. It looks cool. It looks fun. And obviously, like, it didn't do well enough to ever make a sequel. But I love that, like, even as much as like the movie is not one of my absolute all-time favorites, as soon
Yeah.
as it said like look, keep an eye out for Buckaroo Banzai and the world robbing bank crew, or like the world crime crew. I was like, I'd watch that movie. I'd watch
I
fucking Buckaroo Banzai versus the world crime crew.
It made me think, why didn't anyone ever try to make that? There's got to be, because this is one of those ones that, with the advent of VHS and stuff, it did really well on home
Yeah,
entertainment,
yeah,
home
yeah.
video. That's where people really discovered it, and there's like a real diehard fan base. I'm sure those guys go to like Comic-Con conventions and sign, headshots to this day. Like it's such a
Yeah.
bonding movie, I bet, for a lot of people.
Like Perfect Tommy has got to be out there being like, bleach blonde hair, even now, signing Perfect Tommy, just making
Did
bank.
Did that guy ever do other things? Do you recognize him from other things?
No, but he had like a certain sort of movie star charm, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a good-looking kid. He was good. He was very good in this. I don't know what happened to him, and I don't even know if this director got to make other things. I know he was a USC professor for a long time,
Oh,
and
wow.
and his wife found a comic book by Mac Roush when years ago, and he reached out and said, "Hey, I love your stuff. If you ever want to write a script, let me know." And so the guy reached out to him years later and said, "Yeah, I'm coming to LA." And I think they like uh, optioned an idea he had, and then MGM said, "We're going to give you 6 months rent to write us." So they put him up in an apartment for 6 months, and it was like very old school, kind of almost like the old studio days.
Yeah. So his name is Lewis Smith. He definitely worked. He was in Django Unchained. Uh, he was in Wyatt Earp.
Oh,
He did a bunch of TV. He was in Beauty and the Beast, Booker. Uh, he
oh,
did Murder She Wrote. He was in
oh,
CSI. Sort of
oh, he
like jumping
works.
in for episodes. There was a
Great.
movie called Adrenochrome, which is worrisome, I think, only in that like that's like the thing that like QAnon thinks Hollywood types are killing children to get the adrenochrome. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. That's going to take some more research. Um
Uh,
before I co-sign on this guy as like a human, I want to do a little more research on that. Um
That's funny. Yeah, but yeah, it's fun to see all these like undiscovered stars having a blast. That's and it's
yeah.
like it is guilty pleasure. It's not perfect, but it's very enjoyable. And I wonder if that guy. Last question? Can you see if that guy directed anything else, Tim? The guy who
Ooh,
directed this?
that is a good question.
Because I did not look that up, but it's shot well. They had two cinematographers on this film, by the way. No surprise.
Oh yeah, they had to get rid of one.
Yeah.
It looks like well, you know what? It looks like he wrote a
Oh, he
lot
was a
more.
writer. He worked a lot as a writer. You're
So
right.
it looks like maybe he didn't direct a lot after that. But check this out. He actually did an adaptation of Big Trouble in Little China, which is cool.
I love that movie.
The movie's fucking awesome. He directed something called Late for Dinner, which I don't know what that is. He did the screenplay for Full Things. He wrote the movie Stealth, like that 2005 action movie with like Jessica Biel and Jamie Foxx. And
Okay.
and check this out. He wrote the movie Home for the Holidays, like the Holly Hunter movie that my mom loves.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was
Like
a
that's
successful.
like just like it's kind of like a family drama. That's kind of odd that he wrote that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a successful screenwriter, and he might even still teach at USC. That's wild.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's wrap it up, man. Were you voting for this president?
No. But I will say there's a lot of Shimizu heat in this movie. This movie might have more
Oh,
Shimizu heat than any film we've watched together.
100%.
Every single person in this cast is on the rise.
Yeah.
Every
I mean, this is Peter Weller pre RoboCop, right?
Yep. Goldblum's on the rise. Lithgow's on the rise.
Mhm.
Uh,
Ellen
Chris
Barkin's about to go on a huge 80s run.
Chris Lloyd, maybe was he on Taxi already? I don't know.
He was probably on Taxi already, but still, like, he's got a lot coming.
It's
Dan
pre back.
Hedaya.
It's pre Back to the Future for Lloyd.
Yeah. Um, Dan Hedaya is in there.
Yes.
Remember from, yeah, like, the sad face guy, he's gonna be having a big run as like a character guy. Um, uh, yeah, like every single, it's just hitters all the way down.
Yeah. It's totally Shimizu heat. Everybody's on the come up. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's the Shimizu heat of it all. I had a thought. Tell me what you
Um,
think.
yeah.
So you remember when Whitford uh, came on our show and he told it, he's like, "This isn't my story, but I'm going to tell it anyways."
Uh-huh.
And it was about John Slattery dyeing his hair in a toilet and he didn't get the part.
Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
thought we should think of a section and just call it a Whitford, and you're borrowing someone else's story. And I'm working with John Slattery, name drop, in Toronto, and he's really funny. And
Uh-huh.
I've been with him twice where he's told this joke, and I thought I might tell it. It's a little blue, but should I do it?
Do it. I love it. Yeah,
And
do
we
it.
and
And
we
I
can call
love
it a
the idea of a
Whitford.
segment. And I like that we would ask the guests, like from now on, we should ask the guests, like, okay, tell us a story that's not yours.
Yeah, and we call it a Whitford. But this one's a joke, but I think it applies. So I guess Jude's going to hear it. It's a little filthy, but
Okay.
in uh, in Ireland they have a limerick contest. Which, by the way, people in Canada don't know about limericks, but you know what limericks are, right?
Mhm.
They're filthy poems, and they have a national contest in Ireland. And the winner was a nun who's in like this Sisters of Mercy convent, but she writes the nation's filthiest limerick, and it's so filthy they can't
Mhm.
print it in the paper. So a reporter
Mhm.
goes to the convent and he's like, I got to meet this Sister Teresa who wrote the limerick. And the Mother Superior's like, oh, she's very private. She doesn't like it. Can you just ask her? I won't print. I just want to hear it. And so the Mother Superior goes back. I'll see if she wants to talk to you. So like she goes back, and out comes this very humble woman covered in, a habit and cloak, no skin exposed, very modest life, serving the poor, helping, servicing the community, living a life of service. And she's like, yes, I'm Sister Teresa. And he's like, did you write the poem that won the National Limerick? And she's like, yes, I did. And I'm a little bit embarrassed, but yes, I did. And he's like, I got to ask you, can you tell me can you tell me the limerick, what it was? And she's like, no, I couldn't. It's too foul. It almost offends my vow to God. I can't do it. He's like, please, I promise I won't publish it. And she's like, all right. He's like, I can't. She's like, I can't. It's too vile. It's too. And he's like, how about that? The reporter goes, what if every time something's too filthy, you just go ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta. And she's like, oh, all right, let
Uh-huh.
me see. She's like, okay, I'll give you that. And so she goes, ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, 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 ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta. And they fucked in a river of shit.
So everything in the lead up is dirtier than they fucked in a river of shit.
Yes,
Hell yeah.
that's
I
that's.
love that. I love a new Whitford section.
I think we can have fun with it. And that literally is very connected because Bradley's story was about flattery. So it's very, I think that's what made me think of it.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's put it down.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna wrap it up. That was the Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. We have been the Second in Command podcast. You can find us on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/second in command. The entire Beep Rewatch library is in there. There's bonus content in there. First episode of every month, including this one, completely free and available. After that, you got to subscribe. So we'll see you there.
Peace.